that is the most important thing to her right now. And it's not for me to say, like, there's worse things in life. In your life, this is the worst thing right now, and I'm going to acknowledge it.
I remember when I became a mother, I think I spent the whole year saying, nobody told me this.
I feel like in the world in general, young girls ever feel like, oh, this was made for me.
Teja, thank you so much for joining Let's Talk DXB.
Thank you for having me.
On a Friday night in traffic.
On a lovely Friday night in Dubai traffic.
We're determined.
But we made it. We got here in the end.
Thank you. So I always like to start with, if the Let's Talk audience haven't come across you, just tell me more about you, and then we'll go into all of the great things you're doing in Dubai.
My name is Teja. I am an author. I also now own a publishing company, so I publish books for people, but most importantly, I'm a big sister, and I own the online space called Dear Little Sister, which is all about being the big sister that I wish I had, and just being the big sister to young girls who need it.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know about the publishing house, so we're going to talk about that.
Oh, we're going to get into
That's
that.
exciting. Okay, so first, Dear Little Sister, because what planted that seed, and what journey did you go on in yourself? Because I know about the community, so share with others. Yeah.
So for me, being a big sister was a very big part of my life, and especially for a few years, it was all I did.
Right.
I felt like that was my identity, because I didn't really do anything else. I was very like hands-on when it came to my younger sisters, and so that was just mainly how I identified myself. And then I moved to Dubai, and then I wasn't really needed in the same way anymore. And I was like, wait, who am I? Like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I do. And I was like, all I know is being a big sister. And I thought, okay, instead of making that a negative thing, I was like, okay, how do I turn it into a positive? I was like, I'm sure there's other girls who need big sisters. And I always say, big sisters need big sisters. And as an older sister, I always felt like, I wish I had someone to just tell me about this or give me advice on this, or not make this a taboo subject. And there's also some things that you don't want to go to parents about.
Yeah.
And it's like, you need someone who knows, but you also feel a bit safer and not as judged. Yeah. And so I thought, okay, why don't I just create what I'm talking about? And I started by making online videos of different topics, just different advice for young girls, whether it was periods or setting boundaries or literally anything. I think we've spoken about everything. And then from then it just grew into journals and blogs, and now we're just like a big family, and I've got thousands and thousands of little sisters.
But you're ready for the responsibility. Yeah. When I'm actually not the eldest, I'm middle child, but my younger sister, if she was here, she would laugh. She was like, Sharon is like my mum. I feel like my parents got older, and they're like, okay, you, Sharon, you deal with this young teenager. But I know that kind of responsibility. You end up kind of, in a way, raising your siblings, and you feel very kind of responsible for them as well. Definitely. So what was that journey like? Because separating yourself, I mean, I moved to Dubai a long time, but even when my sister's here, I'm like looking at her, trying not to be that mum figure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like my sisters in my head are like my babies. They're like my children. So whenever, like, sometimes even my mum will be like, they're not your kids. Or like, I'll make plans and I'll be like trying to work around like what my siblings are doing. And she's like, they're not your kids. And I'm like, yeah, but they are. Like, they actually are. And I feel like as someone who has younger siblings, like, they're just your little babies regardless of like the facts. Like, they are just my babies. And so I feel like that was just something that I just always put at the front of whatever I was doing. And so when I entered a place where I didn't need to do that anymore, I was just lost. Yeah. Genuinely, I was just like lost. And I'd moved to a new place.
You're in Dubai,
so yeah, exactly. I was in Dubai. So it's not like that responsibility was taken away and then it was like, okay, I can just go and like be with my friends. I felt like I was literally in the middle of nowhere.
So interesting, because then you're building your identity actually. And we'll touch on identity and the importance of at a young age actually being more comfortable in your identity and who. And I think it evolves. I mean, me as an adult, I would say I've spent the last 3 years in regards to my values, what respect looks like, boundaries, like you've talked about. And that's me a lot older. But I think over time you have to kind of take a step back, reassess, who am I? What do I want for myself? Definitely. So that identity piece, what has that looked like for you?
Oh, do you know what? I feel like even today I'm not really sure. I'm just working it out like as I go along. Normal. I'm definitely trying to figure out what it is I enjoy.
Right, good.
Like, this sounds really weird, but like I genuinely didn't know who I was. And even now I'm still trying to figure it out. Like sometimes I go back to old stuff I used to do. Like the other day I went to a dance class and I was like, okay, let me try, because I used to do that when I was younger. Let me see if I enjoy that. And I did.
Yes.
And then I just think, okay, maybe I need to find new hobbies. And then I try and like, let me socialize more. But then sometimes I don't like it when I'm surrounded by people. And then I'm like, you know, I think I'm genuinely just feel, you know, when people say I'm finding myself, I feel like that's literally what I'm doing.
But that's great. And I think knowing that is also good, because that can spiral into negative sometimes. Like, oh, I don't know who I am. And comparison creeps in. Like all of those like bad thoughts can come whilst you're still figuring out. And we all are at different stages. So I think it's an exciting time.
Definitely. And I feel like because I'm a lot more patient with myself now and a lot kinder to myself. And I actually would put that down to Dear Little Sister, because I can not be preaching something that I'm not doing. And I'm all, like, I would always make videos about, you know, being patient with yourself and, you know, not rushing anything and knowing that everything happens at the right time, being kind to yourself, self-care. And it's like, I can't be telling them all this and then I'm over here like bashing myself for not making friends quickly or not knowing what I want to do and stuff like that. So I feel like Dear Little Sisters definitely helped me. I've kind of healed myself in a way, because I feel like by saying the things that I think they need to hear, it's like I'm also hearing it as well, which has been really nice.
That's really good.
I'm a lot, like, I'm just very kind to myself, which I wasn't for a very long time. I put a lot of pressure on myself. So now I'm just a bit more like, okay, we'll figure it out. That's fine. No worries. It's okay. Yeah.
And that's the right energy to have. But again, it takes time as well. And you learn more about your personality and, you know, the good habits, the ones that maybe you need to let go of as well.
Definitely.
So what I loved about Dear Little Sister is obviously the topics you touch on. Because even when I think growing up in a very African household, definitely not speaking to my mum about period. I mean, the period starts, you have your periods, you get on with it. Or, you know, certain things that you feel like you can't touch on. So tell me a bit more about those topics and how you've been able to like be confident enough to talk around them.
It was very important to me to get rid of normal things being taboo subjects.
Or shameful or something.
Like, we all know it's all going to happen. I remember a lot of the girls around me, like my cousins and other girls that I knew, didn't find out about periods until they had one. And I just thought, that makes no sense. My mum told me when I was a lot younger, because me and my sister used to have like a little period bag that we used to bring to school before we'd started our periods. Your
mum's
she used to put it in our
intentional.
school bag just in case. So we were just knowledgeable of like, oh, this is going to happen. Like at some point this might happen. And then so when it did happen, it wasn't like a fear. It was more like a, oh, okay, I knew this was going to happen and I'm ready. And I feel like that's how you should be.
Yes.
And I think that spills over into a lot of other things in girlhood. It's like, okay, there's a time where you're going to need to set boundaries. So the earlier I know about it, the earlier I know that no is a full sentence. And the earlier I know that, you know, if something makes me uncomfortable, I'm allowed to leave. The earlier we know these things, then when the situations happen, you're just more equipped. And I think that's how I feel with most things that I speak to the young girls about. It's more about making sure you're equipped for
and ready for like as you grow as an adult, because you're complete everything you're saying. I'm like, that's completely right. You just kind of do life and no one tells you. I remember when I became a mother and I was like, I think I spent the whole year saying nobody told me this. And I was like, well, we can't really tell you. I was like, you can tell me.
No,
I was like, this is motherhood, this is parenting, completely like unaware. And I cruised through like pregnancy, like, oh yeah, it's fine. When he comes, I'll figure it out. And I was like, nobody told me this.
Yeah.
So it's so important to have these conversations.
I don't like the idea of like, oh, we figured it out, so they will. Like, I don't like that.
Yes.
And especially in like an older sister setting, I never want to be like, oh, well, I figured it out. Like, no, they don't have to.
Let me help you.
I can help you. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go. You don't have to do it that way. You don't have to struggle. You don't have, like, you know.
Yeah.
If someone can help you, just help.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
But I think it's those closed conversations, not going into the detail of things that might be seen as too personal or too shameful. Yeah. I think that's why a lot of people have just not touched on it. There's certain communities that it's very common.
That makes sense. I feel like there's some topics that I still wouldn't visit. In the Dear Little Sister space, because there are some things that are like, that's down to your parents and your family.
That's
so I try not to like cross like a certain line. However, like normal things for girls, I'm like, okay, we're not going to pretend that periods or like feminine hygiene is something that we're not going to talk about. You know,
it's
like,
so important.
Why?
Yeah, that's good. And that's wisdom, because I think also you're aware of like there might be sensitivities, or every household
100%.
has a different dynamic or culture, religion, you know. But I think, the wider things that are actually normal, we should touch on.
'Cause especially I always want to reach, I always want every type of girl to feel like she's been reached by what I'm doing. Like, for example, I was making the videos on TikTok and Instagram, and they were doing really, really well. Okay. And I used to get a lot of messages from parents being like, oh, my daughter's not allowed social media, but I make her watch your videos. And it reminded me that when I was younger, I wasn't allowed social media. When all my friends had it, my mom was like, absolutely not. So I know that feeling of being left out. And then I was like, okay, now I have to do something for the girls who aren't going to be able to watch this video. So then that's why I started the blog. So it's like on a separate, they can read it. And I also put the videos on the blog page so they can watch it. And I think it's just about, in any way I can, reaching every type of girl. I never want it to be like, I never want it to just be for like one type of girl. I just want everyone to be able to feel like, oh, this is for me. And I was thought about. I think that's one thing that I feel like in the world in general, I don't know if this is dramatic, but I don't feel like young girls ever feel like, oh, this was made for me.
No, probably not as well. And the type of content that's out there as well might not be intentional.
Very damaging.
It's a bit scary.
I think that's definitely another reason, especially me having younger sisters. Like, I'm quite scared for them. Because it's a totally different world. What they're exposed to is totally different. The theme of what it means to be a woman nowadays is completely different. I feel like it's a lot more dangerous, and I feel like there's a lot less guidance because no one really knows what they're doing. And we're in a time where the adults are learning at the same time as the children, and that is all dangerous because times before this, the adults were always ahead.
The wisdom was there, exactly.
And now it's just a bit like, oh, we're kind of all on the
all
same.
Figuring
like,
out.
oh, what is going on with this whole social media thing? And I'm just not. I want them to have another option.
That's good.
So even if one girl sees a video a day, even if one girl gets a journal, I'm like, oh, that's good because she's not scrolling.
And it's healthy things that she's taken in. So you touched on journaling, because that was my next thought process. So I started to look into journaling maybe a year ago. I'm not consistent enough with it, but the times I do it, I'm like, oh, this is such a healthy download, and I need to be more intentional with it as well. And I went back. I said last Friday I took myself away, and I just kind of like sat and I went back on the journal over like, I don't know, the 2 years, and it has been a journey. But just to kind of even do that and reflect on my words and my thought process and my prayers, it was so therapeutic.
It's so good for your mind. It's so good to switch off and just do something different. And also with me, my mom used to always give me like like daily journals that you fill out. So you meant to fill it out every day. And I remember I used to always, like, say if I'd miss a day, I'd feel like, oh, I've failed, or, oh, I have to go back, or, oh, I've missed a day. And then, I don't know, it just used to make me stress a little bit. And so, like, when I was making these journals, I wanted to make it very intentional that at any time you open the book, it's something new. Every page is something fresh. Like, you don't have, it's not a follow on from last time.
Or like
you don't
an
have
assignment.
To be,
I get what you mean.
If you left it 3 days, you can it's still something totally new. And everything is positive. That's also one thing I wanted to be. I was very cautious of the language in the book. I was just, everything is literally just positivity. I'm just here for the girls. I'm just everything for the girls. That's what I'm doing. And I've had so many people be like, oh, why don't you do it for boys? I'm like, right, can we slow down? Let's just
your community and your purpose is for a reason at this point.
For me and the girls.
Good. I loved how you said that you were given a journal before you started this, right?
I was given journals when I was growing up. I was homeschooled for a few years. And so I was always very creative. And as I said, I wasn't allowed a phone. And even when I did get into school and my other friends were all on their phones, I wasn't allowed one. So I just always had other things to do, whether I was journaling, whether I was colouring, literally anything. I just had something else to do. And so I think that definitely plays a big role in it. My mom always made sure that I wasn't just on the screens, and I knew who I was before I entered that world. And when I was younger, I used to think, oh, this is really unfair. Like everyone else is.
Left out. Do you know I was going to ask, how did you compute that?
But now that I'm older, I'm like, wow, like I never had really any self-esteem issues, because by the time I'd entered those spaces, I was confident in myself, right? I never had a lot of issues that a lot of other girls had when it came to themselves and their confidence and their self-esteem, because it was like I hadn't been shown anything different. You know, even sometimes when people speak about, you know, showing up as a black girl, and like when I entered spaces, I never thought like I was less than anyone else. I was like, oh, I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
We're all beautiful. That's how I entered it. And so if anything was to like combat that, I already had my self-esteem built. And that's kind of what I want to do for other people in this climate.
Now I understand. I'm piecing it all together as well, and the intentionality, and you actually seeing the value of journaling and, you know, from a young age to now be able to kind of help others, because it's changed a lot, and people are absorbing social media and comparing and not really liking or loving themselves, which is a scary thing from such a young age as well.
Everyone seems like, I feel like they all want to change or fit into a certain box. And I was even saying this, we've just lost a lot of individuality, which is really sad. I was speaking to my mom about this the other day, that if you look back in time, you'd be able to dress and like notice how people dressed in a certain time. Like you could say like, oh, let's do a 90s theme or 80s theme, and you could have all these different ways. And like now it's just like, oh, we don't know.
We don't know.
There's not really any identity of our time.
Or it's going back, it's just repeating.
Or
I think people are just trying to take from those years.
Literally.
Yeah. You're so right.
And there's not much individuality, and I want young girls to feel free, because there's always that switch also in a young girl to her extreme freedom and extreme confidence to like, you see it happen where it's like, not everyone does this, or someone's pointed that out, or is this not normal? And I just feel like at that point it's just like you need something to reassure you. That's like no, it's okay. Because usually you're just let in, and then you're fed to the lions, and then there's no coming back. And I don't think that's very good. That's why I also try and make sure that the books can be given to as young as possible, but also if an older girl was reading it, you can still also relate. So I just try and say the books are for writing age. That's all I say. So whenever you start writing,
I love
let's
that.
go.
Yeah,
because it makes sense that like, even if when you start writing, if you start writing about your self-esteem, it's like, that's probably the best time.
That's the best time to do it.
My little sister's 7.
Oh, wow.
And she will sometimes fill out pages, and I just think, perfect time to fill out a gratitude flower and say what you're grateful for. Perfect time to write in your worry box and say what you're worried about and how you like to solve them. Write a letter to yourself. How do you feel? Write everything that's beautiful about you. Like, I just feel like the earlier you start with those things, you just feel a bit more full.
And it's just the substance and the foundation that we're probably not giving our children at this point. You know, like you said, a lot of it is screen time. It's not the intentionality around you are beautiful at 5 and write down what you love about yourself. Like people are told not necessarily to do that actually. And your uniqueness is this. I think that is so important actually, because we miss those conversations at an early age.
Definitely.
I want to touch on healing as well, because I've seen a few bits that you've talked around healing. And what has that healing looked like for you, and what are you trying to teach others as well?
Oh, I feel like healing is one of those things. I always say, like, healing is by your timeline. Because I feel like sometimes when people speak about healing, they feel like, okay, I have to get over it. And
I used to be like that.
Get over it quickly, like hurry up. And it's like, no, actually, that's not how it works.
It takes time.
Yeah, it does take time, and it's something that you have to be very patient and very kind to yourself about, because sometimes you'll think, I feel better now, and then the next day you might feel awful again, and it's you saying to yourself, and that's okay, like this is part of it as well. It's part of it to go forward and then go back. And for me, healing's been something that I had to allow myself to start doing, but I didn't realize that I needed to do it.
Right.
Because I am one of those people who I just run on like energy.
You're saying we just go. We can't sit still. So you block out a lot.
Exactly. Yeah. And as I'm being productive, like I'm just like, I'm being productive. Like I'm getting so much done. And then I'm like, you might need to actually slow down. Because every time you slow down, you're sat with your thoughts. And when you're with your thoughts, that's when it all comes out. But you need to.
Yeah, so wise.
When I was younger, I wasn't a big fan of speaking, like letting things out.
Okay.
I was a write it down type of girl.
Right.
So like even now, if you go and look in like my memory box from when I was younger, me and my sister, actually, my sister's 19 now.
Yes.
But in our memory boxes, we literally have so many random pieces of paper where we've written down our feelings. It will be like, today I'm really feeling sad because this happened and that was something that my mom always encouraged us to do, was write things down. And it's so cute to like look back and see like, what were our problems? Like what was 11-year-old me writing about and journaling about? But at the time, that was the most important thing to me. And I that's also one thing I also find really important to me, is never taken away from the severity of a situation, depending on someone's age. Like if my 7-year-old sister is crying because she dropped her drink on the floor, that is the most important thing to her right now. And it's not for me to say, that doesn't mean like there's worse things in life. In your life, this is the worst thing right now, and I'm gonna acknowledge it. And that's something that is very important to me. So I'd say, back to healing.
I'm like soaking it up. I'm like,
back to healing. I think healing is just a journey.
It is.
And I think there's some things that you will never get over. You just learn to live with them. And that's where I also am at. Like, healing isn't forgetting, because that's what I used to think. And so I think every time I think about it, I'm like, you're still not there. And it's like, no, maybe it's just about like, okay, I can think about it without it ruining my day. It
doesn't trigger me in a different...
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I think that's where I am with healing. I still wouldn't say like I'm fully healed, but I'm way better than I was before.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a journey. Even for me, like I would always say, I've been on a good 3-year journey of my healing, and there's times where you'll get that feeling come back. But I'm like, I know I feel like this. I'm going to sit with it. What maybe prompted that thought to come back? Why am I feeling like this? Where before I used to be like, block it out, get it, and I'd find 10 other things to do because I don't want to think about it. Yeah. So I think it's the maturity to know you have to go with the ebbs and flows and everything that comes with it. Yeah,
I always say that. I always say you have to feel it. You have to go through it. You can't go around. You actually have to go. Like if you really want to feel better about something, you have to go through it. I just say, just let yourself feel it. That's why I always say, especially to girls, like my friends or my family, I always say, just allow yourself to feel it. When people are like, oh, I'm upset about this. And I'm like, that's fine.
True. Yep.
You know, sometimes people be like, oh no, don't worry, it'll be fine. Don't let it upset you.
And they try and go on to the next thing.
Don't let it upset you. Don't be sad. And it's like, no, be sad.
Yeah.
It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to cry. Like, let it out.
So true.
Actually let it out.
Yeah.
I was such a bottle up type person. I was
like
the
me.
queen. I was the queen of bottling it up. And now I'm like, right, give me 5 minutes. I need to cry.
I need to let it out.
I'm like, let me go cry.
I was the type to be like, nobody can see me cry. Definitely not in public. And I think also it's upbringing. So I always say this, my poor mum, she's like, stop telling people I'm such a strong woman. She's lovely and she's loving, but she was quite strict and she was quite tough. And it served us well in different ways, resilience and being independent. But we were never given space to be soft. I think until I went through like my journey of divorce and and she literally saw me. I think even her seeing me crying was like, whoa,
like, wow.
Sharon doesn't cry. What do I do with her?
Yeah.
But then she eventually started to give me space to unravel, and it was the best thing. So I started to feel less embarrassed, less ashamed. So it's so important.
It is important, and it's important to have women around you supporting that. And when I think like a lot of people just don't have it. Like, I get so many girls messaging me like, thank you so much for this. Like, I don't have a big sister, but like this really helps me. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Yeah. Like if it's just one, if it's two, like it's just like, oh, you get to have a person. Yes. Like, I'm glad you get to feel like you have someone, because you do.
Yeah, it's so important.
Having women around you who understand is a very big part of it. Because sometimes just having someone who gets it can make you feel a lot better.
Yeah, without you thinking it's just me. I think that is just me can be quite dangerous actually. 100%. Because then you tell yourself other things and then you become the problem rather than actually you're hurt and it's a normal feeling and you need to process it.
But for someone else to be like, oh yeah, me too. So,
yeah, but I'm not so weird. We can get through this. It's good. Yeah, exactly. It's needed. I want to go into the publishing company because I didn't know this bit about you. I was like, we've spoken.
Do you know what? I only launched it like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I've been helping other people make their own books, like behind the scenes. But I was just doing it quietly because I was like, okay, let me make sure I've got this right before I start offering it out to the world.
Okay, yeah.
And then so I launched it last week. It's called True House. True's the name of my 7-year-old sister. Cute.
Wow.
It's called True House Publishing, and I've been making books for loads of different people, and I help them publish and I help bring their vision to life.
Amazing.
And especially like passion, anyone who has like any type of passion project, they just get in touch and we just bring it to life. I'm all for making books, me. I'm in the time. Like I must seem like an old woman, but I hate phones.
Yeah, you're like old school.
I'm like,
write,
get rid of them. I'm like,
read.
write down. Especially for like younger people. Like right now I'm making a children's book and I'm like, yes, we need more. Like we need
I'm
more
an old
books.
School mum. Like my son, well, I think he's still young, but I know there's kids that have tablets and iPhones. And he's like, I'm like, no,
absolutely
until you can write a whole page
and read
everything
we had to do before we were
I was like, well, no, that's not going to happen. And he's like, oh, but they're learning this stuff at school, like iPads. They have an iPad session. I was like, well, it's just going to be school that you'll be learning it, because I think that foundation of like, you know, being able, and he absorbs so much, and through reading, we read every night. So I know the value of that, and I'm encouraging him to write more. We have a worry monster at home. So any feelings you have, if he can't write it, I'll write it, and he'll put it in the monster. So being expressive. Exactly. It's important.
And I love that as well. I love that for your son as well, because I feel like encouraging the boys to do the same thing and to communicate is just as important.
Communicate their emotions. Exactly. I'm very big on that as well. Like, it doesn't mean he's soft. He's not weak. There's obviously, and as he grows, there's a time and place, like with everything. But I want him to feel like he's home is safety, and he can tell me what's on his mind. That's
important, because then again, it goes back to, you have somewhere to go back to. You have a safe space. You don't feel like, oh, well, I'm going to have to just figure this out somewhere. Like, oh, no, I've got somewhere that's safe and I can do this. Yeah,
it's so important. I'm trying to be intentional with it. So when you're speaking, I'm like, yep, that's me. I'm that old school mom. Write it down. If you can't spell it, I'll help you spell. He's only 5. So we're getting there with him as well.
That's lovely.
And also, because this, when we spoke, I was like, this very much feels like a letter to myself process. I know you said it's been your own healing through that journey as well. So if you were starting your letter now, what would be that first sentence that you would give to yourself?
I'd probably say that you don't need to make everyone happy. It's okay to make mistakes, and most of these things aren't your job. That's what I'd say.
Oh, let's dig into that, please.
Let's get in there.
Yeah, let's get into that.
One thing about me, from a very young age, I would carry the responsibilities on my back, and I think that I was responsible for everyone and everyone's feelings, and I had to micromanage everything. And this is from very young. This is from I was like 8, 9.
Yeah.
And it went through until about last week. No, I'm joking. But like about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And till I like actually let go of like, okay, let's actually figure out what is actually your responsibility. And so that's what I would have said to myself, because I was stressing about a lot of things. I would make decisions based on everyone. I'd put like 10 people before me, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, now me. Do I want to do it? Or I'd be like, oh, I'd really love to do this. Oh yeah, but what if this? And what about this? And oh, that means that this person's gonna have to. And it's just like, none of those things are my responsibility. Yes. So now I'm just putting myself first. So in a letter to my old self, I would say, that's not all your responsibility.
I love that, because that can be like literally you're speaking to me. I was middle child syndrome. I definitely have middle child syndrome, the independence, but definitely older child responsibility. And even just moving to Dubai, I've been here for 13 years. I was thinking, how will my sisters, and they're grown, like how will my sisters do? What about the thought process to even just do something that I really wanted to? I knew I would do it, but you do put a lot of other people first, and you lose your voice, I think, when you do that.
Definitely.
You lose
and
your voice.
Also, I always say you teach people how to treat you, and when I put people before myself, it made people not only not value me, but not really appreciate it, because everyone was just used to it. Oh, Teja will do it. Oh, Teja will be fine. Oh, and it's like, now I'm like, oh no, actually I'm not. No, I'm going to say no.
Saying no.
And honestly, I always say to people, like, say no and don't feel bad about it. And I'll say no, and inside I'm like,
it's burning.
They're going to hate me. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I'm a bad person.
I'm like, no, this is good. Because I figure it out.
Yes. Yeah. And saying, I'm so like, I have a cousin here, she's like a sister, and she'll be like, do you know what? I'm like, nope. And I wouldn't even explain why. And I just I just don't want to. Or, I'm really tired and I just want to sit still. And before I used to make up 1,000 excuses, or I would do it to please someone else. I'm the queen of no. Like, no, my boundaries.
No. I love no.
Embrace it for sure. Definitely. And where do you want to see dear little sister go and grow to?
I just want as many girls to find their safe space as possible. I don't like to make specific goals, because I always feel like I know how I am, and if I don't do it, I'll be like, oh, you didn't do it.
The weight, the disappointment, got it.
But I know I have a vision to reach as many girls as possible, and for it to be something that girls know, oh, this is a space to go to. And we're always going to have young girls who need guidance. So as long as it's here, I'm happy.
Oh, I would go on for hours, but I know the production team like, your time is up. What you're doing is fantastic. Honestly, it has so
you.
much purpose, and I can see your own journey, threads of your own journey. So the authenticity behind what you're doing, and I can't wait to see more about the publishing house as well. I'm going to do my research a bit more now.
Thank you.
Well done. Yeah, I think your Dubai journey is just starting, and I'm really excited for you. Yeah, I can feel it. I'm so excited for you. Yeah, keep going.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Let's talk DXB. Real conversations by real people.